मेरे मुंह में कुत्ते मुझे निकाल दिया उसको एक लाखों ना मरा समझौर मारे गए ना भान रहे ना इंसान रहे अतः अपने खुदा को मान के अतः
The shockwaves from India's nuclear weapons tests on the 11th of May 1998 spread from the Rajasthan desert across the subcontinent. A deadly new age for the subcontinent had dawned. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India's Prime Minister and leader of its Hindu Nationalist Party, had ordered the nuclear explosions as soon as he took power. Pakistan tested its nuclear weapons just 17 days later in the mountains of Balochistan. The blast shook them so hard they turned white. The country's leaders had prepared and hoped for this moment for almost 25 years. With the ultimate weapon at hand, they believed they had finally found the means to confront India.
28 May
stopped. From now on, land and people in India and Pakistan were condemned to live in the shadow of the bomb just moments away from catastrophe. The confidence of a nuclear umbrella led to a secret incursion by Pakistan's army and the Mujahideen in the Kargil area of Kashmir. The Indians were taken by surprise and Pakistan's leadership was euphoric after some easy victories. As the initial surprise wore off, Indian forces poured into Kargil and a bitter struggle began for the control of the mountain peaks overlooking the road from Srinagar to Leh. The success of the counterattacks and immense international pressure upon Pakistan eventually forced it to withdraw. But not all humiliation.
While India formally remains a secular democracy, while formally people are treated as one, and citizenship rights are given to everybody and there is ostensibly no discrimination made, the reality is very different. The reality is very different for minorities in India. The reality is very different for people who are living in conflict zones where internal wars are going on, be it Kashmir or parts of Northeast. And that reality is that they are actually denied even the most basic fundamental civic liberties. In these areas which are declared as disturbed, you actually lose your right to life.
We have seen how complicated Kashmir has become. National chauvinism, territorial ambition and religious fanaticism have soaked the land in blood. So is there a solution? And what could it possibly be? Kashmiris, Pakistanis and Indians have ready answers that they're willing to kill and die for. Many territorial divisions of Kashmir have been proposed, but all are problematic. India formally claims all of Kashmir, but this inseparable part would have to be held in place by force of arms. It would be a giant prison where Indian nationalism could fulfill its fantasy. The strife in Kashmir would continue unabated. Pakistan too has long dreamed of having Kashmir. It considers Kashmir as the unfinished business of partition. But the tragedy of East Pakistan proved that Islam is not enough to bind disparate people into a nation. Many Kashmiris dream of a united independent Kashmir, even though it has been rejected by both India and Pakistan. But independence is not necessarily the same as freedom, particularly if Kashmir becomes an Islamic state. The Hindus and Sikhs of Jammu and the Buddhists of Ladakh would then become second-class citizens in their own land. Independence for just the Muslim-majority valley has also been proposed. But then Kashmiris would end up divided between three states. Those who chose the valley would be cut off from the world. It would be a nation without resources or a future. The impossibility of changing borders by military means leaves only the status quo. Some activists think that the Kashmiri quagmire demands radical new ideas.
When we talk about whether Kashmir is